In this episode of Film Smart Reviews, Paper Town, starring Cara Delevingne and Nat Wolff. First, we're going to go through the characters. There's 6 main characters and a bunch of whatever.
Irrelevance.
So we're just going to go through the first 6 characters, and then we're going to go over the story pretty quickly, because this is a more character-driven story than it is a story-driven story. So first, we're going to start with Nat Wolff's character,
Quentin.
Yeah, so Quentin. I thought Nat Wolff gave a pretty good performance.
I thought he was good. There was one point, I think when they were at the Sun Chest or Sun Choke, whatever it was called, building, I thought in that scene, I was like, I feel like he could have been played by pretty much anybody else, and it still would have been the same movie.
His performance was good, but it was one of those characters, and that's fine. There's characters like that where you just be like, well, anybody could have played that.
Yeah.
Well, not anybody, but any good actor could have played that, where it's like Heath Ledger's Joker. Well, not anybody
could have played that, yeah.
So I think you have to kind of take that into consideration, because most of the characters in this movie, any good actor, any serviceable actor, several actors, I'm sure plenty of actors could have played these roles better. So, but the cast was solid, and Nat Wolff, I think, was the cornerstone of that solidity, because he conveyed the teen angst, and he was the nerd, and I can see why there were rumors of him being Spider-Man. Maybe when those were being thrown around, I could totally see him as Peter Parker. The whole time I was thinking that, I was like, oh, maybe he should have been Peter, but who knows?
I thought, his acting has definitely gotten better since the days of the Naked Brothers Band, that old Nickelodeon garbage show.
Wait, was he?
Yeah,
that's him.
Nat and Alex Wolff. Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
I just realized.
Yeah,
that. Oh,
yeah, that's what he's from. That's why I kept thinking the entire movie. I was like,
oh my,
that's
him.
He did a complete 180. He just turned his whole career around.
I didn't even associate.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy. I'm sorry. I just had a realization.
He's way better now.
Terrible time to realize that, but
there were so many times where I mean, since I'm a teenager as well, I could relate so many times throughout this movie about what he was feeling. In The Fault in Our Stars, I couldn't necessarily do the same thing, since I didn't have a terminal illness, and there were a lot of different things about that movie, and I felt like that movie was a little more cliche. But this one was kind of unbelievable at times, though. Like how his character would go all the way to upstate New York from Orlando, Florida, just to find a girl, and his parents were just completely okay with them taking the
That's
van.
what I didn't like.
And it didn't seem like they had another car, because his mom dropped him off at school. Where was she gonna go? So I mean, there were just a couple of things.
Where was his dad? Was his dad around?
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, I don't really know what was going on during this movie, but
yeah. So going in with Nat Wolff, so the story is basically about him and Cara Delevingne, who's Enchantress.
The Enchantress.
Who she plays Margot.
Ross Spiegelman.
Yeah, Ross Spiegelman. Margot Robbie.
Yeah, me too.
But they live across from each other for 11 years, and they kind of grow apart as they get older. And one night she comes and kind of takes revenge on all the people who did her wrong, because their boyfriend cheated on her. And then you see him kind of go along with her, and they kind of what's the word? They reinvigorate that friendship, or they relight it, or whatever you want to say.
Kindle.
Yeah, rekindle it, and they're kind of friends again. But then she's missing the next morning, and obviously she's gone. She's known for going away and doing her own thing and leaving clues, like she's the Riddler or something. She goes off all the time, and he goes off on a road trip to find her up to upstate New York with a group of his friends. And it's basically kind of with what you would expect from a teenage film. It's kind of a coming of age story, and finding yourself and who you are, and what it's going to be, what it's like to be a senior in high school, nearing the end of your year. So I thought that was it was a pretty good movie. First, we're going to go, or second, I guess now, with Cara Delevingne. She is somebody who was not in this film crazy.
I was really excited to see her, because I wanted to see so much of her for Enchantress.
Yeah, right after the trailer.
I mean, she was good. Every part she was in, she was great. Which I wasn't sure if she would be like a good actress or anything, but she's pretty good.
It was just, sometimes it was hard, because I know she has a British accent, and she's British, and you could tell the way she pronounced things, like the way she talked, and that's not a way most Americans talk, and that's a way a lot of British people kind of have that. There's a certain way of speaking. I don't even know how to explain it. Our British viewers are going to go, you idiot. But she kind of had a certain way, and you could just tell the way she pronounced things. And anytime I know that somebody is not American, Most of the time, it's okay. Like Hugh Jackman for one, is like, oh, whatever. Heath Ledger is another one. It was like, oh, but her, I could tell that she was British, but her American accent was okay. It was fine. It was just you could tell that was not her native. I don't want to say tongue. Her native lick. But yeah,
it's better than Charlie Hunnam though.
Yeah, but
he literally can't.
But she was fine, and she was not. She was kind of the idea of her was the main focus of the movie. I mean, she was. Let's not pretend like she wasn't in the movie for a good portion. I mean, she played a pivotal role as far as
it's
getting
kind
him.
of about her, but it's about him.
It's about both. It's about him, but she's controlling him.
Yeah,
and she's the whole idea, the legend of Margot Roth Spiegelman. That's what the movie's about, and everybody kind of fitting into that world. It's her world, and everybody else is just kind of a piece in it.
That's true.
And so I thought I'm excited to see her as Enchantress now. I was kind of worried before this film. I was like, did she act? I knew she was like in Anna Karenina, and I was like, I didn't see that, and I don't know. So I was kind of worried about her taking on, especially since she could gateway into the Justice League Dark. So I was kind of like, oh, I hope she can act. So that's a big role to fit. So I think we're in good hands with her. The next is Austin Abrams, who plays Quentin's friend Ben, and he's fun. He's kind of
he was funny. He was
a comedic
comic relief.
Comic relief, and he got a lot of laughs from the crowd. There were a couple times where it was like there was a scene at the party where he was like being a knight or whatever, and I could tell the jokes weren't landing.
I mean, it was over the top.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I think everybody does kind of have that friend, but you don't have that extreme of that friend.
And they could have reeled him in a little bit because he was funny, but he could have been a lot funnier if there was less of it. There was too much funny, and you could tell they were trying too hard. They're like, "Oh, you need to be funny now," and everything he did, and it was just kind of like, I don't know, it's not working for me. So he was good when he was good, and he was never bad. I'm not saying he was bad. It's just there's too much of him. There was way too much of him. And the next friend, Justice Smith, who played Radar.
Yeah.
I thought he was fine.
He wasn't like interesting.
Yeah.
Which I guess nerds aren't really supposed to be like the most interesting
But
people.
see, they should be, because they're the most interesting. I mean, you would think a nerd they're way more interesting than an idiot. Like, you would think, but I don't know. But he was fine, and I liked the whole. He had the black Santas his parents had.
Yeah.
Black Santas.
That's different. That was certainly.
And that was funny, and I actually found his girlfriend to be a much better actor than he was.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was a bad actor. I just thought he was kind of, I don't know, he just kind of delivered his line. Maybe the director kind of just said, I want you to not act at all. I just kind of want you to talk like people talk. Because I give that movie credit. There was a scene where the three of them, they were playing video games, and they were talking about Ben's fake girlfriends.
Yeah.
And they were talking, and they kind of had a natural flow of conversation, and like the way Nat Wolff's character would make fun of him, and it was, that was like I know people who talk.
That happens.
That's
literally
happen. It's not one of those those teen movies where they pretend to be teens, and and it's kind of they live this stylized life, and they pretend that everything's perfect, and nobody talks like that.
Yeah,
but they actually kind of got it in. There was a scene when he's walking out, and the conversation kept going. They didn't like leave the conversation, which I appreciate. I was like, oh, that's really how people talk. That's really what goes on. You don't just stop a conversation because somebody walked out the room. So I thought that was it. I thought that was good. I liked that actually. That was another problem though I did have, is that it was used a little too much. Sometimes there was sometimes I was like, all right, it's a movie. Remember, you're a movie. If I wanted to see this, I'd go hang out with my friends. Next character, Halston Sage played Lacey, who was Margot's best friend, which I found confusing because Margot she wrapped her car, and this is not really a spoiler, but she was wrapping her car
with the
and I'll give a quick spoiler alert. She was wrapping her car, and then she said that her friend was aware that that her boyfriend had been cheating on her and didn't say anything. But then they talked to her about it, like Nat Wolff's character, and then she said, "Oh no, I never did that. I didn't know that he was cheating." But then they never went back to that. So I was like,
yeah, you're right. Yeah, she never even.
So somebody's lying. I mean, I know Margot's kind of a bad friend, but is she a liar now too, or is the other one a liar? They made her out to be a great person, Halston Sage character, and then the other one was like, she's a lost soul.
Yeah.
I was like, well, you didn't tell me who's lying though. Somebody's lying. They can't both be telling the truth.
See, I hated the fact that, well, yeah, this is a spoiler too. At the end, when they don't like find her there and they all leave, she went all that way to clear her name with her best friend and all that, and I felt like she didn't care at all just to leave. I know she had that realization that, oh, she's not even a good friend. Would she do the same for us? Blah blah blah. I mean,
yeah. I'm gonna get back to that real quick. Just getting the last character, Jazz Sinclair, who played Angela, who was Radar Interesting's girlfriend. I thought she was pretty good, and I thought she was kind of funny, and they had a funny discussion about the Black Santas, I remember, and both of them were not, say what you will about him being interesting or not, they weren't a stereotypical black couple, or just ethnic couple in general, which I was glad to see, because it seemed like all the time when they put somebody who's not white in a movie, then they're the stereotype, which is fine.
But it's so alienating sometimes if you see a movie and you're like the only black person there or something, and it's just that none of that's true. Yeah. I mean, sometimes it can be true, but that's stereotype.
That's why everybody should go see Dope and see.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with having the funny black guy or funny Hispanic guy or funny Asian guy. Yeah. But it's just you don't have to have them all the time. Sometimes there's regular people who happen to not be white. But so I liked that, and I loved they had a perfect scene where he got a Confederate flag shirt that said like heritage, not hate. And I was like, this is perfect timing.
Yeah, it is
perfect timing. We were just dealt with this in South Carolina. But anyway, back to the Halston Sage character. She's a character that I thought she gave a good performance, and I thought she seemed like a cool person or whatever. But I had a big problem with her, and the problem, like we were saying, was nothing was answered about that, so I didn't know if she was good or
maybe they're waiting for a spinoff.
Yeah, but then she also, like you said, she just walked away and didn't care. And this is also kind of spoilers when she walks away and doesn't find Margot, and she's like, "Oh, she's a bad friend." It's like, so they're just done now all of a sudden after all that? You're done? Oh, come on, BS. And then she said, essentially, she said, "I'm nothing more than a pretty face," and. Well, why? I mean, you seem. I know you're nothing more than. I know you're more than that. I know, or she didn't say nothing more than a pretty. She said more than a pretty face, and I can tell she's not an idiot, but she never gave any indication about her being very smart.
Other than I'm going to Dartmouth.
Yeah, and then you could say, oh, maybe the realization of her not being a good friend. Oh, you would have realized that a long time ago, and also an idiot could have realized that. So no, and then she said I'm going to Dartmouth, and I was like. That's fine, but you can't just say something like that and then like the Radar's character. He was a nerd, and you could tell he was a nerd. Nat's character was a nerd, and you could tell he was a nerd. Ben's character, I couldn't tell he was a nerd, but maybe he wasn't supposed to be.
He was like, he wasn't a nerd, but he was just like a outcast, or not even outcast. He was just
he was he was a geek.
Yeah,
and then you had Halston Sage is like, well, I'm so smart, and it's like. Well, you gave no indication of that. You said you seem like a normal person, not dumb, not particularly smart. So I don't know. I thought the film overall had its weak points, and talking more about it, I kind of have a clearer view of how I feel about this. What would you rate this out of 10?
Either a high 7 or like a low 8.
I think I would give it either a high 6 or a low 7. So. And that's not a bad thing. A lot of people think a 6 is bad. 6 is decent. I mean, you have to look at a rating as not a great. I think a lot of times people see 7 as a C or 8 as a B or 90 to 100 to a 10 as an A. It's like no, that's not what it is. 8, 9, and 10 are excellent. 7's really good. 6 is good.
It was good, yeah.
And 5 is kind of...
5 is like, I don't know if I could watch it again immediately or anything, but yeah. And then 4 is like, I had a lot of problems with it. 3, garbage.
2 is, oh my God.
And then 0. 1, Amazing Spider-Man 2.
No, that's 0.
That's negative. Oh man, that's a terrible movie. Why did I bring it up?
We haven't brought that up in a while. We haven't had a video.
There you go.
But those are our thoughts on Paper Towns. Tell us what you think, and as always, stay film smart.